Everyone, this is Pastor Dane Johansson from Agros Reformed Baptist Church in Mesa, Arizona. I want to come to you today with a Bible review, just kind of an unboxing. I just got this Bible as a birthday gift for my 30th from my wife, so I wanted to show you guys. I know it's something I've been waiting for ever since Schuyler said that they were going to be producing this Bible. It's been something that I've been really looking forward to. I have a few other Bibles here for examples to compare, but this is the KJV Treveris marbled mahogany calfskin, so the brown calfskin. Now I'm really I'm really satisfied, really blessed and happy that Schuyler is making their top of the line Bible in calfskin this time. You can also get this edition in a variety of goat skins, but when I first got into the Bible market, the premium Bible market, calfskin was like the premium, that was the best. And so I've always kind of viewed, personally, I know it's probably not correct, but for me, goat skin's always kind of been a step down. It's not as smooth, it's not as supple, it's not as soft, it's more durable for sure, but I've always viewed calfskin as kind of the cream of the crop. Unfortunately, most calfskins nowadays are not leather lined after the age of the Abba Bibles and stuff kind of went away. Most of them are not edge lined or leather lined anymore, but I'm really liking seeing Schuyler bring this back. So anyway, let's get into this. I know a lot of people are excited to see the Treveris, and so was I. So this is the mahogany calfskin. It came in a couple of wrappers to keep the shape of the yaps, which have not taken shape yet. But here you can see it in the sun. Tried to get in the natural light. It's really difficult to capture the elegance and beauty of this leather. It's almost like a tiger shark. If you see that there, the coloring, you can see the light brown with those dark patches as well on there. Still, it's really, even in the natural light, it's hard to properly capture what this cover really looks like. But it does not disappoint. If you were wondering, I know there are some people that were wondering, I'm so used to the premium being the goat skin, and I've grown so accustomed to goat skin with all these amazing additions. Can I really trust that the top of the line edition and their selling of the Treveris being calfskin really is the best of the best? Well, this leather, this particular calfskin leather, not really sure how to describe it best, but it definitely is, you think of like local church Bible publishers, a lot of us are aware of them. Their ironed calfskins are extremely supple, but also very delicate. They scratch easy. This is unlike any calfskin I've ever felt. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. It'd be kind of like a leather jacket, like a premium leather jacket, or a leather chair, or a couch, or something almost. It's thick. It's a really thick piece of leather. It's got somewhat of a grain, but it's mostly smooth. But it's not ironed, and doesn't feel like it's going to scratch easy or scuff easy. It holds the imprinting beautifully. I don't know. It's hard to describe. So if you've had, say, like the Cambridge calfskin, I've had this one for some time. This is the Cameo. If you've had this one, this is the Vachetta calfskin. It's really supple, really nice, but even just doing that, it kind of leaves marks, and it can scuff, and there's a scuff mark there, and feels kind of, you want to be like a little bit careful with it. Or even the Mariva calfskin. This is the TBS Texas Receptus, but all of their other stuff that's in calfskin is also this Mariva calfskin. Also, the Oxford reprint by Allen. Was it the long primer? They did the Mariva calfskin. Super soft, super supple, but does scratch and scuff. Though it rubs out much easier than the Vachetta there, it still, can hold a scuff or a scratch, and you still feel like you need to be kind of careful with it. Not so with this. This is just amazing. It doesn't feel like you need to be super careful with it. It's soft, it's supple, feels good in the hand and feels great to the touch, but it doesn't feel like it's just going to break or scuff right away. So anyway, enough on the leather itself. It's really nice leather. You're not going to be let down. Now the yaps on this they're not full yap. They are about semi-yap. So you can see they almost touch. And if you ever wonder, it's not just stylistic. Yaps actually come in handy. Some people don't like the way yaps look at all. I like the way they look. And they're actually, really useful. So you see how the page edges are right there. Well, if something bumps into it, it's going to hit those yaps and protect the page edges. So that's the whole purpose of them. But they come much closer to touching on the sides than they do the top or the bottom. That's the bottom. Here's the top. So the side you get pretty close to touching, but the top and the bottom is quite a bit far apart from touching. Anyway, here's the Treveris. Leather lined, of course. I think they use a calf split liner. That's really nice. Brown. It's got 3 brown ribbons. One is honey gold there. The other 2 are just the same kind of brown as the cover. The hinge is there. That's how the Bible's built. You don't want to rip those things apart. Those 2 pages, you gotta leave it. But historically they've been pretty stiff on Schuyler. There's some dog hair there, and they remain stiff here, but you can tell they'll break in. I think it's just due to the calfskin, and they'll break in. Just give it time. I mean, you gotta read it and use it. It'll break in. So anyway, here's the title page and all the info. And this is a really exciting typeface. You can see it's red under gold art gilt. Excuse me. Got allergies today. They explain in the introduction here. By the way, this is milled in France. This French milled paper. This is French milled paper. Youngblood had this French paper to print on, and it's 28 GSM Indopaque paper. So really nice paper. It's somewhat reminiscent to the old French milled paper of, like the ABBA bindings and stuff, but haven't spent enough time with it to really see if it's that much up to par, but it's still really great paper. Anyway, they go into the introduction, why they made this specific edition, the Treveris, and talk about its specific features. They did include the epistle dedicatory. They explain the epistle dedicatory and the translators to the readers right here, and then it gets into the epistle dedicatory to King James, and then they include the translators to the readers as well, which I think is really, really cool. I think every King James Bible should be printed with the translators to the reader. It helps give really good background information, just like, ESV, NIV, any of that's going to have their translators introduction. So too the King James originally did, and it's a shame that it's been neglected to be reprinted so often. So here's the title page for the Old Testament, and here's where we can see what makes the Treveris the Treveris. It's a little bit bigger than a hand-sized Bible. It's about a mid-size, personal size, large print, basically what it is. What they've done, is all the verse numbers are in the margin, on the inside margin, and then on the outside margin on the next page. Excuse me. All the verse numbers are in the margin, and chapter numbers. Now, what's nice about the King James, any edition of the King James, is every verse, regardless of where it falls in the sentence, starts with a capital letter. So, no matter what, pretty much all the capitals are going to be where verses start. So, if you're having trouble finding one, like let's say here for 8 and 9. So, 8 would start here. Now that's where 9 starts. So, yeah, you go verse 9. Okay, and it goes on. So it's easy to find. And starts there. 11. So 11 would start and here again. So I mean, it's meant for a reader. It's meant to be a reader's edition, to have an unencumbered reading experience. It's got those beautiful drop caps and stuff, so you can still use these to find verses. I mean, I'm sure you could even preach from them, from this Bible. I might even try it, but it's meant to be a reader, and it's got red for the headings and red for the page numbers, but everything's been taken out that would distract you from just reading the scripture. And so that's why I got this, because I have study Bibles, I have wide margins, but I don't have just a good reader. I tried to use the Clarion for a while, but there was too much junk in there. There's too many verse numbers, too many reference numbers. When I used the ESV for years, I always used the Clarion ESV, and it didn't give me a problem. But when I switched to the King James, for some reason, I don't know what it was at all, I just couldn't follow with the Clarion. Anyway, you've got the information you need is there if you need to find it. And I'm sure, again, you could preach from this. You could do that kind of stuff, but it's primarily meant to be just reader. And so in the Psalms, every verse starts its own line, and it's in poetry. And any other poetry, like prayers or anything in the scriptures, are going to be in poetry setting and not prose setting. So this is also a red letter edition. So let's look at the red letter. Here's Malachi. Title page of the New Testament is right here. New Testament. And then here's St. Matthew. Let's get to the Sermon on the Mount, where it's all red letter. Here we go. So you can see that red letter is easy on the eyes. Actually, when I first got it, in the lighting in my house, it wasn't dark or anything, but just the way the lighting was and how well they executed this red letter, I didn't even realize it was red letter. I remember I flipped open to this and I was just like, thought it was kind of spotty black letter. And this is appearing way more like pink through the camera than even as I'm looking right now at the page. It's like dark brown almost. It looks black. It's blacker than some black letter text, because it's such a crisp, bold font. That is such a good job on the font that red letter, and choosing that color red, it looks way more red through the camera lens than it does in real life when I'm looking at it. So I am not a red letter fan at all, and it almost prohibited me from buying the Treveris, for asking my wife to get it. I was almost not interested in it at all. But here you can see an example of the red against the black. Here's the red against the black. You can kind of see more when it's like this on the camera than when it was just red letter. But it is a beautiful shade of red. It's not distracting at all. I'm not a red letter fan at all, and this will be no problem whatsoever. But anyway, this is, the point of the Treveris is to just have a reading experience. I'm sure you can preach from it. There's a little bit of room, but it's not meant to be a study, reference, preaching Bible per se. It can be used as those things, but it's primarily meant to be a reading Bible, and so that's where it's going to shine, and that's its intended purpose. So anyway, here's an example of a chunk that was, where was I? It was here in 1 Corinthians 15. Yeah, where they're quoting an Old Testament prophetic passage. It's set here in poetry among the prose. You could also see that you're seeing it as I flip along. But I think if you wanted to use this as your main Bible, you'd have absolutely no problem. You get used to where the references are, or the verses are, especially knowing that the King James is going to start with a capital letter. But those drop caps are beautiful. This whole thing is just gorgeous, everything about it. Depending on where you live, your paper will react different when you get it out of the box. This is the longest this has been on the box. It's curling up a little bit here, you can see, but not much. People forget that paper has to adjust to the humidity or lack thereof. So when it's entering a new state from where it was shipped, and the humidity is significantly different, whether in terms of how much humidity there is or lack thereof, the paper has to adjust. So give it a minute, use it. You don't need to mess with it too much, but just use it. Let it acclimate to your house, essentially, and where you're at, and it'll be fine. But this paper feels really nice. No problem turning it. It's got a concordance, which I'm happy about. They changed the concordance a little bit. Instead of the word in red, references in black, it's switched it to the very opposite. References in red and the word in black. After the concordance is a few sheets of lined notebook paper that are just on the same Bible paper. And then maps. And these are Schuyler's own maps now. They finally started doing their own maps. And this doesn't matter to me at all. I don't care about maps at all in the back of my Bible. I like having them to write on top of or stick things in or whatever, but I don't really use maps. If I'm going to look at something, it's going to be online on my Logos or whatever. But I mean, I know it is nice having them, and people do appreciate. So I'm covering them. They're not that glossy paper. It's just regular, thick Bible paper. Not cardstock. It's just nice, non-gloss. They do need to fix this though. They need to separate this because the actual map goes into the gutter. So that's not good. They probably need to fix that. Other than that, I mean, they're beautiful colored maps. Probably useful for those who like maps. They seem to be nice. Index to the maps, which is good. If you're going to have maps, you might as well go all out. And then the back of the Bible. And so that is the Treveris. Schuyler Treveris, King James Bible, authorized version. A few more shots of that. Gilding on the spine. See if we can get a better one. Raised hubs. They're not exaggerated. They're just nice. It's getting really hard to get an accurate picture of that color. It actually really is. That's about the best I can do right there. And even then doesn't, with my eye looking at it, it doesn't show the color at all. It shows it better on the camera in this part. And then over here, I see the color better and the camera doesn't. So, strange. But it's beautiful. Yeah, I'm really, really, really happy that they're bringing the calfskin back to be, the premium. Let the yap take its shape. You don't need to mess with it too much. Just use it. And, you can kind of push it down. Go around and push it down and it'll start to take form better. Or just leave it and let it fall how it falls and take shape however it takes shape. But this is going to be an amazing Bible for reading, and probably going to try preaching from it and stuff once I'm able to preach in public again, once everything kind of calms down here. But I'm going to try to preach from it and use it for a bunch of different purposes. But this is really nice. I'm really excited to use this, and it was a great gift from my wife, so I'm really excited about that. Anyway, I've rambled for 20 minutes about Bibles again, but all of those of you who watch Bible channels don't care what's being said anyway. You just want to see the Bible. So there it is. It's the KJV Treveris Schuyler. The ribbons are probably medium thickness. They're nice. Anyway, for $200, man, $200. This is a steal for this, and this is well worth every penny. The what is it? The goat skins. I would like to see some of those. I've seen some of them online, but I'd like to see the slate one in real life. Anyway, guys, God bless you. Hope you enjoyed this overview of the Treveris KJV Schuyler, and that you have any questions answered about if it's something that you want to buy or not. God bless you all.